There are rumors about Toyota going to put the new Fortuner in line with the rest of the body-on-frame lineup. This means it would feature a front face that follows the same design language established in North America, where even the 4Runner doesn't feature an exclusive face but rather mimics the Tacoma midsize pickup. Considering how North American models look, we don't have anything against this approach either. As for the rest of the vehicle, we don't expect to see any bigger changes. The overall shape will, of course, remain the same. Typical SUV proportions are about to come, and we don't even expect dimensions to change drastically. The current model features a 2,740mm wheelbase and a 4,795mm in total length. And even though it's among the smaller models in the class of midsize SUVs, we don't expect the new model to grow significantly, because, in that way, it would compromise a bit of its off-road performance on things like approach, breakover, and departure angles, as well as the overall maneuverability. Instead, things will most likely remain the same, which may bring familiar limitations on the inside, but will ensure that the new Fortuner becomes a well-rounded package. Powertrain. With its overall design that's heavily based on Hilux, the Fortuner has always been an ultimate go-anywhere SUV. And with that nature in mind, we are pretty sure that the company won't change much in terms of powertrain. With SUVs like this, it's essential to stick with proven solutions, and in the case of the powertrain, that refers to the good old 2.8-liter turbo diesel, which has been updated a few years ago and got more power, 150 kilowatts or 201 horsepower, as well as a 500 Nm of torque. These are respectable figures for the segment, so we expect no bigger changes for the new model. However, that doesn't mean it won't see some updates. Although a model like this certainly doesn't have much potential for electrification, it could benefit from a mild hybrid system. After all, Toyota already introduced such a setup when it turned out to improve efficiency and reduce emissions by 6 to 10%. The smaller electric motor, which is good for about 16 horsepower and 65 Nm, will also have a positive impact on driving dynamics and overall driving experience. And while we talk about the driving experience, let's not forget to mention another big update: the new transmission. Namely, the good old 6-speed automatic will go into well-deserved retirement, and it will make room for a new 8-speed unit. With the new transmission, the Fortuner will be smoother and more efficient, not to mention that we expect to see it equipped with the latest version of the multi-terrain select system, which now includes 6 different traction modes and is ready to tackle any kind of surface and terrain. 2025 Toyota Fortuner Hybrid. It's time. In most markets where this SUV is sold, the good old 2.8-liter turbo diesel is either the only choice or the most preferred among the customers. However, there are also parts of the world where Toyota still offers it with petrol engines, including the good old 4.0-liter V6. Well, just like in the 4Runner, this engine will be retired and replaced with something smaller and more efficient. Of course, the first unit that comes to mind is that 2.4-liter Turbo 4 with 278 horsepower, which seems plenty enough to move this midsize SUV with ease. However, that may not be all. The new Turbo 4 engine may also come in a combination with electric motors and battery, making it a hybrid setup. This already happened in a variety of Toyota models, including the new Land Cruiser. With this system, potential Fortuner buyers may count on plenty of power, considering that the combined output goes all the way up to 326 horsepower and 630 Newton meters. And all that torque should significantly improve the overall hauling and off-road potential of the SUV. Speaking of the off-road potential, we don't expect to see a significant departure from the previous generation. The outgoing model is already a respectable off-roader, with decent approach and departure angles, solid ground clearance, etc. Just like its predecessor, the new Fortuner will most likely come standard with the rear-wheel drive. Four-wheel drive will be optional, along with all kinds of off-road upgrades, such as the rear and center locking differential, low-range gearing, and hill descent control. Moreover, we definitely expect to see a dedicated off-road version on offer as well, with upgraded suspension, better underbody protection, upgraded styling, and many more. But what about the interior? Will Toyota finally give Fortuner the cabin layout it deserves, with quality materials and the latest tech features? Stay with us to find out, but first, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell button, because more previews like this are coming. Interior design. As we've just mentioned, the new Fortuner probably won't change much in terms of exterior dimensions, therefore we don't expect things to be drastically different in terms of interior space either. Once again, this will primarily be a 2-row SUV with 5 seats, while the third, not particularly spacious row, will be offered as an option. To put all this in simple words, 5 adults plus 2 kids in the third row has always been Fortuner's measure, and we don't expect things to change to the new model. In terms of boot space, once again, we don't expect a significant difference compared to the outgoing model. In numbers, that would be around 300 liters behind the third and 800 liters behind the second row of seats. On the other hand, what will change drastically is the dashboard and the overall interior design. The current model hasn't changed much since its initial launch. Moreover, its Hilux-copied dashboard design was always more about functionality than style. Well, this is expected to change a bit with the new model. We expect to see a more stylish layout, with nicer materials and more tech features. Speaking of the tech features, one of the things that comes to mind is that massive 14-inch touchscreen that can already be found on models like 4Runner and Tacoma. We presume that the Fortuner could come with something similarly sized, along with a digital instrument cluster. Still, these things would be reserved for higher trim levels. Base models, on the other hand, would feature a smaller center screen and analog gauges. Other modern tech features are expected as well, including smartphone integration and other connectivity features. Moreover, the new Fortuner is also expected to adopt the company's latest Safety Sense 3.0 suite of advanced driver assistance features. This update would bring improvements in the operation of various systems, including adaptive cruise control, which will offer more distance settings, while the forward mitigation system will now be able to recognize motorcyclists. Finally, there is a new system called Proactive Assist, which helps drivers in tricky situations by gently applying brakes, steering, etc. Release date: the all-new 2025 Toyota Fortuner is in development and it's expected to arrive pretty soon, most likely in the last quarter of 2024. Once again, its primary focus will be markets like Australia, India, Southeast Asia, and surrounding areas. But we won't exclude the possibility of expansion to other parts of the world as well. As for the price, the current model starts at around 54,000 AU in Australia, and we don't expect to see a significant price increase for the new model. What do you think about the 2025 Toyota Fortuner? Is this the new ultimate SUV in markets like Australia or Southeast Asia? Can it beat the new Ford Everest and the upcoming next generation of Pajero Sport? Let us know in the comments and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching and see you next time.